Imagine you're the almighty hero of a magical realm, but one fine day, you find yourself mistakenly isekai'd into the human realm. This is our protagonist, Setsu, who believes he looks cool with his long hair, and indeed, he is quite striking. Did you think I was going to roast him? Nah, not today. Setsu is just lost in his thoughts. His childhood friend Yui comes up to him. Despite Setsu not wanting any gossip, Yui doesn't mind. She notices his long hair, comments that it gives off a gloomy vibe, and offers to trim it. Setsu appreciates the gesture and accepts her offer to cut his hair. Although Setsu wonders about the other world, a sky suddenly darkens and a magical circle appears. Yui is surprised, but Setsu senses something familiar. A bright light surrounds them, and they're all transported to the other dimension. Setsu realizes he has returned to the other world. Confused, the students discuss the situation when suddenly, demon knights approach. Setsu realizes they're controlled by curse energy. As the demons approach, the students flee. Setsu becomes a target, but Yui jumps in to shield him. As the demon approaches, Setsu effortlessly flicks his finger, sending the demon flying. Yui is puzzled, but Setsu quickly guides her away. They witness an army of soldiers charging past them, engaging in a battle against the demons. The soldiers struggle, but a group of mages unleashes fire, successfully taking out some of the demons. Amidst the ongoing battle, Setsu finds it odd because the war against demons should have concluded. A girl named Elka cautions them about the danger and advises them to find safety. Setsu seems to recognize her, and Elka is accompanied by the royal knight Glen. He orders his men to charge against the demons. Glen takes down one, and Elka uses her eye magic to shower spikes down on the demons. Impressed by the strength of the defenders, Yui follows Setsu to safety. The students reach the city and meet the king, who hails them as heroes. The king explains that they're facing a demon invasion, akin to the war 5 years ago, and were saved by a hero from another world. The princess believes destiny has sent them new heroes. Despite their lack of combat skills, the students reluctantly agree to help. The princess expresses gratitude, and the students head to their rooms, with Setsu promising to keep Yui safe. The next day, training begins under Glen, and Alka teaches them magic, emphasizing the importance of a strong mental image. The girls practice, and Yui shows promise. Setsu, impressed, is confronted by Alka, who accuses him of slacking off. Unconcerned, Setsu's attitude reminds her of the hero from 5 years ago, described as selfish. She warns him of the dangers, but Setsu refuses, challenging her. In response, Alka charges at him, but Setsu effortlessly dodges and playfully slaps her. Elka recognizes his technique, acknowledging him as the hero and calling him master. Despite her joy at seeing him again, Setsu finds her odd, noting her masochistic tendencies. She wonders why he looks different, and Setsu explains he's in a different body. Glen unexpectedly comes across them and questions their actions. Alka reveals that Setsu is back, surprising Glen. Assessing Elka's position, Glen realizes it's true. They quickly locate their companion Thea, who already sensed Setsu's return due to his distinctive magic power. Glen apologizes for his poor magic-sensing abilities, and Elka pretends she knew it was Setsu all along. Reunited with his old companions, Setsu is grateful for their support and curious about the situation with the demons during his absence. His friends inform him that after the final battle, he vanished and they couldn't find him. Setsu vaguely recalls the last fight against Toma, where he struck a devastating blow before being reborn in another world, with his memories and magic powers intact. Thea suggests destiny may be at play in Setsu's repeated summoning. Setsu wonders about Toma's involvement in the new war, suspecting his curse magic controls the demons. However, his friends reveal that Toma also disappeared after their last encounter, and her search yielded no results. A guard interrupts to summon Glen to see the king, and Alka mentions it should have been Setsu's responsibility. Setsu brushes it off, expressing his desire to travel the world. The trio appreciates the peace Setsu helped bring, but Setsu remains concerned about Toma's whereabouts. The scene shifts to the king declaring war on the demons. Glen urges reconsideration, citing the pending communication from their emissary. The princess argues that the demons initiated unprovoked attacks, believing justice is on their side, given the simultaneous summoning of new heroes. Unable to counter, Glen recalls the king's decision to make peace with the demons 5 years ago at Setsu's suggestion. Yui, practicing wind magic, impresses Setsu. Despite her reluctance to harm others with magic, she vows to use it to protect him, bringing joy to Setsu. In a meeting with his companions, they inform Setsu of the war declaration. Glen managed to stall by claiming the new heroes needed more training. Setsu decides to intervene and stop the war himself, insisting on going alone to ensure reliability, especially with the suspicion that Toma might be involved. His friends reluctantly agree. Before taking action in the war, Setsu must retrieve his equipment from inside the palace. Thea employs an invisibility spell to move discreetly, while Alka charges in, evoking memories of their past adventures. Elfa takes a more direct approach by subduing a guard, prompting Glen to suggest a different tactic. To avoid detection, they confine the guard in a box and proceed to the storage room, where Setsu locates his old sword. Unfortunately, The guards discover the box, heightening their alertness. Elka apologizes and Glenn decides to buy some time. Thea instructs Elka to accompany Setsu, considering her limited combat abilities. Setsu pulls Elka away, and they successfully reach the city's edge. Elka bids him farewell, but Yuri suddenly appears, inquiring about his destination. Setsu reveals that this is his second summoning to the world, and he is heading out to stop the war. Yuvi expresses a desire to join him, but Setsu deems it too perilous for her. Yuvi insists that Setsu is doing it for her safety. Setsu instructs her to close her eyes, and she uses her magic to cut his hair. Impressed by her mastery of both wind and fire magic, Setsu swears to become strong to protect him. He playfully flicks her forehead, explaining that if she can dodge it the next time they meet, she will have passed his test. Setsu bids her farewell and ventures forth. In a flashback, an old man vehemently refuses to sell his high-end jewelry to a young customer, emphasizing his pride as a craftsman. When asked about the price of a particular brooch, the old man asserts that it's not about money, but a matter of his pride. Rory, his granddaughter, appears, inquiring about the commotion, and the old man dismisses it as a waste of time. It's revealed that the young customer is Setsu from the past, who promptly changes the old man's mind by offering a sack full of gold. After Setsu leaves, Ruri questions her grandpa about his pride as a craftsman. He imparts the lesson that while pride is important, everything has a price. Following his passing, Rue takes over to fulfill her grandpa's final job. As Ruri travels on a carriage at night, a horse suddenly stops and a giant boar attacks her, knocking her to the ground. She was en route to deliver the brooch and is relieved to find it undamaged. Despite her attempts to negotiate with the boar using food and gold, she remains unsuccessful. Setsu happens to pass by and saves her. Concerned for her well-being, he asks if she's okay, but she insists on paying him. Setsu, content with having helped, refuses payment, emphasizing that not everything in life is about money. Ruri, influenced by her grandpa's teachings, sees a resemblance to the hero from the past in Setsu. Setsu questions her lack of a guard, and Ruri explains her urgency and inability to find one in time. Setsu reminds her that money is worthless if she loses her life and wishes her luck. Ruri pleads with Setsu to be her guard, but he declines, citing his own mission. However, she persuades him to accompany her to the nearby port, and Setsu agrees. They take her horse, but Ruri laments leaving her other goods behind, thinking of the financial loss. Setsu inquires about her package, but Ruri refuses to show him, deeming it too valuable. Upon reaching the port town, Setsu is surprised by its growth. Ruri explains that trade boomed after the war 5 years ago, leading to the town's expansion. She hired a ship to take her the rest of the way, but upon arriving at the dock, she discovers that her ship's trip has been cancelled. All ships heading to the demonic continent are on hold due to the ongoing war. Determined not to give up, Ruri asks around all the other ships, but everyone dismisses her as crazy for wanting to go to the demonic continent during a war. Setsu, observing her struggle, decides to lend a hand. However, she is approached by knights claiming to conduct port inspections. They ask for her ID, and Ruri presents her documents, but the knights belittle her as a mere money-driven merchant. Insisting on inspecting her bag, they find her suspicious when she refuses to comply. They attempt to confiscate it, prompting Setsu to step in, introducing himself as her guard. He questions their permits for a search, but they brush him off. Undeterred, Setsu challenges them to a fight, drawing attention from onlookers. Fearing public scrutiny, the knights relent and let them go for the time being. Grateful, Ruri jumps on Setsu, eager to know how much she owes him. Setsu declines payment and is treated to some food by Ruri. Impressed by her calm demeanor in the face of adversity, Setsu shares that he learned about permit rules from someone named Blaine. Curious about her plans without a ship, Ruri considers looking for one in town or even purchasing her own. Setsu finds the idea ridiculous and reveals that he's on his way to the demonic continent. He offers to take her with him if she agrees to rest at the inn, advising her not to push herself too hard. Ruri agrees and they secure a room at the inn. Inside, Setsu tells Ruri it's her turn to use the bath. Before going, she asks him to watch her package, showing him the brooch inside. Setsu is surprised and learns that it was her grandpa's last job. The brooch, a prized creation, was brought back for repairs, but due to his failing health, he couldn't deliver it himself. On his deathbed, he imparts to Ruri the importance of money as a means to protect what truly matters. He entrusts her to complete his final job, which she promises to deliver at all costs. Leaving it with Setsu, she goes for her bath, reminding him not to steal her money. Grateful to have met him, she expresses happiness about being close to fulfilling her grandpa's last job. Examining the brooch, Setsu discovers that the protection magic he had applied is broken, causing concern for the person he had given it to. Later that night, while Setsu and Ruri are sleeping, knights accuse them of being demon spies and come looking for them. Setsu becomes aware of their presence, and when the knights burst into their room, Setsu and Ruri jump out of the window and attempt to escape. The knights give chase, but Setsu sets up a trap with bottles, causing the knights to slip. However, they end up at a dead end and the knights catch up. Setsu provokes them to fight, but surprises everyone by grabbing Ruri and jumping off the edge. To their astonishment, a sea serpent named Livia emerges from the water and they land safely on its back. Setsu instructs Livia to head for the demonic continent, leaving the knights baffled. The captain dismisses it as a dream, and they decide not to report it. As they travel, Ruri realizes that Livia is short for Leviathan, the god of the ocean, leading her to wonder about Setsu's true identity. They arrive at the demonic continent, where Livia takes on her human form. Setsu cheers on Livia as she engages in a fight with a giant squid, enjoying the spectacle. Livia gets sprayed by the squid's ink, and Setsu reintroduces Livia to Ruri. She is surprised to meet the god of the ocean, who expresses annoyance that Setsu disappeared for 5 years and immediately requests to use her as a boat. Demon children appear, advising Setsu to understand a girl's feelings and apologize. Setsu gives them squid rings, and the children run off in joy to share them with their parents. Livia reveals that there's plenty of squid to go around, and they take it back to the village. However, the village is facing difficulties due to the war, with trade halted and the giant squid hindering their fishing. Setsu arrives with the squid, surprising the villagers, who throw a party to celebrate. Livia is praised as a god and served the finest wine and sushi. Ruri serves the squid rings, and Setsu impresses the villagers by skillfully slicing the squid into rings using his great sword. Meanwhile, a demon named Vlad notices the fire in the village and fears they are under human invasion. He rushes toward the village to investigate. As the party winds down, it becomes apparent that Ruri has gotten a bit drunk. Curious about how Livia met Setsu and the demon lord, Ruri learns that 5 years ago, Setsu tried to cross Livia's ocean without permission. They fought, and Setsu ended up enlisting Livia's help to stop the war. Livia recounts that the war caused her to go on a rampage, and Setsu managed to defeat her with a single punch. Ruri suddenly realizes Setsu's true identity, explaining his strength and knowledge about this being the demon lord. She asks if Livia is angry with Setsu, but Livia expresses her happiness at his return. When Ruri suggests love, Livia dismisses the idea, deeming it impossible for her to love a human. However, she admits to waiting for his return. An explosion interrupts the scene as Vlad bursts into the village, initially worried about an invasion. He soon realizes it's a party, and children offer him some squid rings. Setsu sells all his squid rings while Livia and Ruri relax by the ocean. Livia uses her magic to catch some fresh fish. Vlad apologizes for his earlier assumption and recognizes Setsu even in his new body. Setsu questions why the demon lord's most trusted officer is outside the castle, and Vlad reveals he was looking for Livia. He pleads with them to save the demon lord, explaining that Desus is being forced to marry a man named Terrence Snyder through a curse subjugation. Livia believes it should be a happy occasion, but Vlad describes the curse as exceptionally powerful due to a cursed necklace. Setsu is confident that Desus can resist most curses, but Vlad reveals the unique challenge posed by this particular curse. He recounts a recent human invasion where they were attacked by soldiers in massive armor, leaving behind the flag of the human kingdom. Desus was initially hesitant to go to war, but Snyder appeared, offering to negotiate for peace. Setsu questions Snyder's strength, and Ruri reveals that he is the wealthiest merchant in the world, owning most of the merchant ships in the sea. Desus is willing to sacrifice herself to stop the war, and Vlad, as one of her generals, is prepared to fight until the last man. Livia understands that Desus is honoring her promise to maintain peace, even if it means sacrificing herself. Despite calling Desus a fool for clinging to a promise from someone who disappeared, Livia decides to help her. Vlad warns them about the monsters on the road to the castle, but Setsu confidently declares that he will handle everything before they arrive. They start running towards the castle, and Setsu is reminded of the time they attacked the demon lord's castle together. However, they encounter wolves along the way. Livia transforms her arm, using water slashes to swiftly defeat the wolves. Setsu reveals their plan to stop the wedding and deal with the cunning Snyder. Livia questions how Setsu intends to stop the war without Snyder's support, but Setsu believes Snyder is involved in the scheme behind the war. Since demons and humans accuse each other of initiating the conflict, Setsu suspects someone else is trying to instigate the war, and Snyder appears suspicious. Although Setsu isn't certain if Snyder is the mastermind, he believes Snyder must have valuable information. As they face more wolf attacks, Livia showcases her strength on land by shooting water jets from the ground to eliminate the threats. Impressed, Setsu wonders if she has become stronger. As they continue their journey, Livia reflects on her time with Setsu. 5 years ago, she was indifferent to the world above, sleeping at the bottom of the ocean. However, after meeting Setsu and exploring the world with him, she discovered its beauty and chose to protect it. Her commitment goes beyond the promise she made. It is now her own will. Determined not to lose to Desus, Livia expresses her preference for Setsu's squid rings over raw squid. Setsu promises to make more for her whenever she wants. Upon reaching the demon lord's castle, they prepare to face Desus. In a flashback, Desus is shown fighting to protect her people, ultimately being defeated by Setsu. Setsu offers peace and presents the brooch as a token of sincerity. Over time, Desus learns about Setsu's disappearance, and she continues to uphold her promise to maintain peace. 5 years later, Decius patrols the prospering city with Vlad, thanks to the peace and trade with the human kingdom. Suddenly, Decius' brooch cracks, causing concern, and she entrusts it to Vlad for repairs. Subsequently, reports arrive indicating human attacks. Decius, cautious not to jump to conclusions, gathers her generals, instructing them to prepare the army and dispatching two to investigate the situation in the human kingdom. Soldiers preparing their supplies worry about the possibility of war, knowing their people have grown dependent on trade. Despite concerns, they maintain faith in Decius' ability to handle the situation. As a month passes with no communication from the human kingdom, the situation worsens and Decius realizes her people may not endure prolonged conflict. Vlad informs Decius that Terran Sneeder has arrived to meet her. Sneeder proposes using his power and influence to end the war, but the condition is Decius marrying him, turning her into his slave due to a cursed necklace of servitude. Vlad urges her to reject the offer, but she decides to consider it. Sneeder departs, questioning how long they can endure. Reflecting on the proposal, Decius recalls her promise with Setsu, wondering if accepting is the only way to honor it. Vlad insists she not accept the ridiculous offer, declaring the readiness of their men to fight to the death for her. However, Decius believes it's precisely for this reason that she must accept. Doubting her decision, she wonders if she is a fool, while Vlad, refusing to give up, leaves in search of an alternative. Sneeder meets with a shady figure, revealing that their orchestrated plan is proceeding successfully, and they will soon gain control over the demonic continent. They admit to sending the armored soldiers to instigate the war, but suggest pulling them back to avoid further escalation. Sneeder agrees, but is overruled by the figure, who claims it's the will of their master. On the day of the wedding, the demons are discontent, but the ceremony commences and Decius walks down the aisle. As the priest prompts them to exchange vows, Sneeder delivers a speech about becoming the new demon lord, vowing to help end the war. Decius, thinking about Setsu, accepts her fate, only wishing to see him one last time. Sneeder moves to put the cursed necklace on Decius, but an explosive entrance interrupts the ceremony. Setsu declares his presence, announcing that he's there to rescue her. Rory and Vlad witness the explosion from a distance, relieved that they arrived in time. Sneeder, perplexed, calls for his guards to shield him. Livia intervenes, dispatching the guards with her water blasts. Decius is pleased to see her, but Livia humorously comments that she looks better in black. Sneeder's associate employs shadow magic, temporarily immobilizing Livia. As he prepares to strike her down, Setsu appears behind him, shattering the shadow magic with a powerful blow. Setsu, angered at seeing Decius upset, vows to make the man pay. However, the man recognizes Setsu and hints that his master will be interested in Setsu's return. Despite launching another attack, Setsu easily counters and defeats him. The man, prioritizing a report to his master, creates a smokescreen and escapes through a destroyed wall. While Setsu tries to locate the man, Decius rushes over, delighted to see Setsu again. Livia interrupts their reunion, pointing out Sneeder's men. The bodies vanish, revealing they were constructs made of cursed energy. Setsu inspects the necklace, suspecting Toma's involvement. Considering their next move, Setsu suggests seeking the support of Beast King Regulus if they are truly up against Toma. Livia expresses exhaustion and Rory and Vlad arrive. Vlad is concerned about the castle's damage. Rory hands the brooch to Setsu, insisting that he returns it to Decius. Setsu assists Decius in putting on the brooch, commenting that black suits her better. As the guards clean up the castle, Sneeder is arrested. Decius bids farewell, expressing a desire to go with Setsu. However, she acknowledges her responsibility as the leader of her people. Setsu promises that once he stops the war, he will take her wherever she wants to go. Ruri chooses to stay, expressing gratitude as Decius permits her to open a shop in acknowledgement of her assistance. Setsu bids them farewell as he and Levi embark on their next journey, venturing into the land of the beastmen. In a different setting, we encounter Shiro, a young girl navigating a market where generous shop owners offer her free food in recognition of her role as a monster hunter. Initially hesitant, Shiro accepts the offerings, and we learn that her younger sister Monako is grappling with an illness. Witnessing Monako's deteriorating condition, Shiro promptly acquires the last remaining bottle of medicine for her. Though the medicine provides relief, it's evident that Monako has been unwell for an extended period. Determined to find a cure, Shiro promises to heal her sister. Meanwhile, Setsu and Levi arrive in the country, with Livia expressing frustration after 3 consecutive days of swimming. Opting for a boat, they plan to depart the following day. In a nearby inn, Shiro purchases another bottle of medicine from Kuro, expressing gratitude for obtaining such expensive medication. However, Kuro supports her, recognizing her deep concern for her sister. Kuro, who is also her boss, assigns her the next task. Shiro is taken aback when she discovers that the job is an assassination mission. Kuro then presents her with a picture of Setsu, explaining that completing this mission will provide enough money to ease the financial burden of her sister's medicine. Hesitant, Shiro encounters Setsu and Levi entering the inn, searching for a room to spend the night. As Shiro walks past them, she catches a glimpse of Setsu before leaving. Returning home, she shares dinner with her sister, who, due to her condition, exhibits a diminished appetite. Shiro, realizing she's running low on medicine, informs her sister that she must take on one more job. While Setsu and Levi sleep, Shiro arrives to confront them. She expresses gratitude to Kuro for her care and proposes they move somewhere together after completing the job, even asking to call her big sister. Kuro agrees, handing over the keys to Setsu's room. As Shiro attacks with her claws, it turns out to be an illusion and Setsu appears, kicking her out of the window. Suspecting her connection to Toma, Setsu confronts her, leading Shiro to activate her partial beast transformation. Shiro launches a fireball, but Setsu effortlessly cuts through it, criticizing her for using such an attack in the town. He slaps her, knocking her out, and she reverts to her original form. When she wakes up, they're back at her house. Deciding not to disclose their fight, they let Monako believe Setsu found her unconscious. Setsu realizes Shiro attacked him to afford medicine for her sister, but reveals that her sister's condition isn't an illness, she's cursed. Setsu casts a spell on Monako's necklace, revealing the cursed energy. Shiro pleads with him to save her sister, and Setsu assures her he'll do so. He summons his sword, Gluttony, which absorbs all the cursed energy. Kuro attacks them suddenly. Shiro, protecting Setsu, is caught in the crossfire. Unable to move as he saves Monako, Setsu is assisted by Livia, who blows Kuro out of the house with her water powers. Kuro, surprised by Livia's intervention, claims she's not worried since they're on land. Livia effortlessly dispels Kuro's illusions and defeats her. Interrogating Kuro about Telma's motives, Livia learns nothing substantial. Shiro, addressing her as Big Sis, questions Kuro about her actions, but Kuro expresses disgust at the term. Kuro discloses that Toma aims to attain godhood to annihilate all other races. Before Livia can apprehend her, Kuro activates an aura of teleporting away. Setsu reunites with them, and Monako has been successfully healed. Determined to thwart Telma's ascension to godhood, they witness the sunrise together. Setsu and Levi board a boat, continuing towards the capital to meet the Beast King. Spotting Shiro and Monako along the river, the girls express their desire to join the quest against Toma as a way of repaying the help they received. Despite Setsu's warnings, they insist, prompting him to welcome them aboard. The group proceeds towards the capital. In a flashback, Setsu instructs a girl named Ro, the Beastmen's princess, in sword fighting. Ro initially resists accepting Setsu as her master, but he understands that dueling is integral to the Beastmen way of life. In the present, Beastmen officials in the capital, Rectum, debate their response to humans and demons. Disagreements arise, culminating in duels among officials. Ro senses a presence and rushes outside, encountering Setsu at the city entrance. Setsu attempts to convince the guards of his crucial mission, but distrust of humans prevails and they demand his departure. Suddenly, Ro descends from the sky, incapacitating the guards. She hugs Setsu, testing him with her claws. As Setsu restrains her, Ro acknowledges him as her future master. They head to King Regulus, and despite throwing him to the ground, Regulus admires Setsu's strength and considers him a hero. Setsu, dismissing the idea of a duel, urgently informs Regulus about Toma's role in orchestrating the war between humans and demons. Ro expresses her desire to join Setsu on his quest, but Roga, the Beastmen army commander, and her fiance interjects, stating that they can't spare manpower for other nations. Roga, doubtful of Setsu's allegiance after 5 years of absence, challenges him to a duel to determine trustworthiness. Regulus suggests settling the matter through a duel, and Roga proposes that the winner marry Ro. That evening, Ro visits Roga, acknowledging Setsu's superior strength. Roga, however, reveals a magic rune from a mage that converts willpower into strength, giving him confidence. The following day, anticipation fills the arena for the duel. Ro wishes Setsu luck, sparking jealousy in Roga as his magic rune shines. Regulus initiates the duel, and Roga charges with his claws. Setsu effortlessly evades Roga's attacks and provokes him to use his full power. Roga transforms into a formidable beast, significantly enhancing his strength. Ro warns Setsu to remain vigilant. Setsu, however, seizes Roga by the tail and throws him to the ground, causing arena damage. Ro publicly declares her love for Setsu, requesting Regulus to conclude the match. Despite this, Roga rises, fueled by the shining magic rune. Memories of watching Setsu train Ro intensify Roga's determination to win, unleashing a potent aura and attaining a power-up. Livia identifies the curse on Roga as Toma's, and Roga, influenced by the curse, unleashes a beam from his mouth that pushes Setsu back. Livia hands Setsu his sword, but Roga's body starts bleeding due to the curse. Despite Setsu slicing off Roga's arm, it immediately regenerates. Concerned about the curse transferring to her, Rolla attempts to intervene, but Setsu warns her to be cautious. Realizing that the curse is controlling Roga, Setsu wants to save him. He summons Gluttony to devour the curse, but the area becomes shrouded in fog, revealing an image of Toma in place of Roga's head. Toma claims he got rid of Roga to prevent Setsu from wasting magic power on him. Ro questions Toma, but he dismisses her and focuses on Setsu. As Toma threatens, Setsu warns him against harming innocent people. Toma laughs, expressing his desire to make Setsu happy by eliminating everyone and living like a god with him after cleansing the world. Setsu vows to cut him down if he harms innocent lives. Toma informs Setsu about the invasion of the demon continent, questioning Setsu's ability to protect everyone. He disappears, leaving Setsu determined to stop Toma. Regulus apologizes for approving the duel, but Setsu reassures him, expressing the need to go to the demonic continent to halt Toma's plans. Regulus provides his ship and promises the support of his army, with Rolla joining Setsu on the journey. In a flashback, it's revealed that Setsu was summoned alongside Toma 10 years earlier. While hailed as heroes, Setsu rejects the hero status and begins training with a sword, acknowledging the need to get stronger in a world filled with monsters and demons. Despite Toma's fear of war, Setsu suggests they work together to survive. Setsu urges Toma to help him stop the war, emphasizing that, as chosen heroes, they still have untapped potential. Toma, feeling his own weakness, decides to stay behind while Setsu leaves to explore the world. Setsu promises to protect Toma, and they vow to meet again once they become true heroes. Toma watches Setsu depart and eventually resolves to get stronger to end the war. Sometime later, Toma has become a renowned hero, earning the title of knight. Leading a formidable group of soldiers, they charge through battlefields, laying siege to a temple. Toma, armed with his sword, ruthlessly slaughters demon soldiers in his path. Upon reaching a peculiar statue, he encounters surrendering demons, but he mercilessly kills them in the belief that it's necessary to end the war. As he walks away, a voice emanates from the amulet on the statue, offering to fulfill his true desire. Realizing that his deepest desire is to return to his world with Setsu, Toma takes the amulet. Subsequently, he walks through the aftermath of the battlefield, the sole survivor in his group. A messenger informs him of a truce declared in the name of peace, and leaders, including Setsu, will pass through the area to sign a treaty. Witnessing Setsu with the leaders, Toma wonders about his presence. As the leaders gather to sign the peace treaty, Setsu is hailed as a hero, celebrated for ending the war. Toma approaches Setsu, expressing amazement at his achievement. However, Setsu modestly claims he didn't do anything special. Setsu's friends call out to him, and as he is about to leave, Toma reveals his wish to return to the original world with Setsu, claiming he found a way back. Setsu, however, expresses his desire to remain in the current world and enjoy life without the specter of war. Toma is devastated, and as Setsu walks away, he wishes Toma luck in his journey back. Overwhelmed with emotion, Toma, remembering their promises, breaks down in tears. The amulet he possesses starts emitting an ominous aura, and in a fit of desperation, Toma declares his intent to kill everyone to force Setsu to revert. Toma attacks Setsu, who defends himself with his sword. Toma, lost in a maniacal laughter, continues his assault. Their weapons clash, pushing them both back. Setsu leaps toward Toma, enduring a blow to his torso, and retaliates by hitting Toma's shoulders, resulting in an explosive disappearance. Toma finds himself back in the temple, lamenting that none of his wishes came true. Disheartened, he drops the amulet, anticipating his imminent demise. However, the amulet glows brightly, revealing a vision of scientists conducting brutal experiments on suffering humans in the original world. Toma realizes there are still people like him and decides to save them. Initiating an earthquake, he causes the building to collapse and rescues 4 test subjects who join him on a quest to destroy the world. In the present, Toma informs his companion that they will all become gods as the world approaches its end. The human fleet, including Setsu's classmates, sails towards the demon continent, and the navigator informs the general that they are nearing the landing area. The general delivers an impassioned speech, getting the soldiers fired up for the battle. Thea detects a trace of Toma's magic power on the continent, leading them to the conclusion that Toma, not the demonic nation, is the true enemy. However, Glenn observes that the soldiers are highly motivated and unlikely to heed their warnings about Toma's involvement. Recognizing that Setsu is likely working to prevent the war, Yu expresses the need to minimize casualties until Setsu arrives. The healing soldiers make a beachhead landing, facing the demon's magical attacks as Glenn devises a plan for a strategic maneuver. Human mages target the enemy's fortifications, allowing soldiers to break through and engage the demons. Alka leads the students in flanking the enemies, successfully taking out some demons. However, when a classmate is endangered, Yu intervenes with a fire spell, turning the tide in favor of the humans. As they surround a defenseless demon, Yu prevents a finishing blow, arguing that the demon is no longer a threat. Suddenly, a voice from the sky urges them to end lies, and demon knights descend upon the retreating demons. Alyssa emerges from the ground and attacks the human soldiers, creating chaos. The demon soldiers believe the tables have turned, but the demon knights unexpectedly turn on them, causing confusion. Alka freezes the demon knights, and Glenn swiftly dispatches them. They discover people inside the demon knights, and Mallet reveals herself, adding a new layer of intrigue to the unfolding conflict. Alyssa, under Mallet's control, is described as a doll. Mallet challenges the group, offering them the opportunity to become her puppets as well. Elka charges at Mallet, but Elise, now a puppet, blocks her attack and pushes her back. Mela, introducing herself as a monster master, spills her magical blood on the ground. The blood rises, forming 4 different monsters that immediately attack the group. Elka summons icicles to pierce the snake monster's head, while Glane uses his sword skill to defeat the gorilla monster. Demon Knights attempt to attack Glenn, but he successfully blocks their assault. Thea uses a potent spell to eliminate the Demon Knights and the dragon monster. Yu defeats the last monster, leaving only Elise and Mela. Set instructs Elise to kill the group, prompting Glane to clash swords with her, defeating her in one strike. Elka confronts Mela, disarming her and piercing through her magic organ, leaving her wounded by the river. Mela, revealing her body's modifications from experiments, gets back up, showcasing an extra magic organ. She summons a 3-headed chimera, merging her body with a monster using a spell fueled by her life force. Elka and the others evade the chimera's attacks. The chimera, with its heads glowing, releases magic beams from its mouths. Thea and Yu combine their powers to create a barrier, blocking the attack. The chimera prepares for another magic beam, but Thea and Yui, now exhausted, face a challenging situation. At this critical moment, Elka notices a butterfly that makes its way to Mela. Elise suddenly appears behind Mela, stabbing her from behind. However, Mela starts crying, remembering their past when they treated each other like sisters. As a result, Mela and the chimera turn into stone, and they manage to heal Elise, allowing her to survive. Despite the seemingly victorious moment, a deep voice is heard and a dark hand emerges from the ground, blowing away the soldiers. A man reveals himself to the group, posing a new threat. Although everyone is exhausted, Yu considers taking on the challenge, unleashing her aura. However, Setsu descends from the sky, joining the battlefield and instructs Yu to stand back, assuring that he will handle it. The man recognizes Setsu as the hero, removes his cloak, and unleashes his aura, preparing for a confrontation with Setsu. Meanwhile, Kuro eliminates some soldiers but becomes the target of an attack. Shiro and Moneko make their entrance, with Shiro expressing a belief that Kuro isn't a bad person and addressing her as big sister. Kuro throws weapons, but Shiro and Moneko easily deflect them. Kuro charges toward them, calling them useless cats. The battle intensifies as Kuro attacks Shiro, injuring her face. Shiro retaliates with a flying kick, and Moneko follows up by smashing Kuro into the ground. Although Kuro appears defeated, black tentacles suddenly emerge from the ground, restraining Moneko. Kuro, revealing extra arms, stands up and pushes Shiro back, breaking her limit to strengthen her extra arms. In the midst of the battle, Kuro launches her arm at Shiro, who manages to dodge the attack. However, the arm travels beneath the ground and unexpectedly reappears in front of Shiro, hitting her and pushing her away. Despite the attack, Shiro still insists on calling Kuro her big sister, emphasizing that sisterhood is not a curse. Undeterred, Kuro continues her assault by summoning more extra arms and sending them to attack. Shiro, along with Moneko, combines their powers, successfully breaking free from the tentacles. The sisters display incredible coordination as they spin like a top, blocking Kuro's attacks and destroying most of her extra arms. Although Kuro falls to the ground, she refuses to give up, fueled by memories of her deceased siblings. As she lunges at the sisters once again, Kuro is taken out in a single decisive hit, and the sisters return to their original bodies while Kuro lies motionless on the ground. Meanwhile, a man named Verdos confronts a group of demon soldiers alone. Unfazed by their attacks, he reveals that his body is made of iron. When Rala jumps toward him, she punches his face, sending him flying. Verdos mentions Rala's name, touching a sore spot for her. Despite her powerful punches, Verdos remains unaffected and Rala's leg starts bleeding. Determined to defend the pride of the beastman, Rala unleashes a powerful aura from her fists, vowing to keep hitting until Verdos breaks. However, Verdos reveals his ability to control his body freely, releasing iron pellets that hit Rala multiple times. As Rala collapses, Verdos believes he has won and begins to walk away. Rola, showing immense resilience, exudes her aura, surprising Verdos. Undeterred by his iron pellets, she runs towards him, enduring hits to her eye and lands a powerful punch on his face. Verdos recalls the Beast King's bloodline ability to burn life force as a last resort, so he hardens his body to crush her pride. Despite his efforts, Rola continues to strike him with her fists, causing his armor to break. In retaliation, Verdos impales Rola with iron spikes, but she fights through the pain, destroying the spikes and driving her fist through his torso. Despite running out of stamina, Rola asserts that a beastman's pride is tougher than anything, collapsing as Verdos falls to the ground. He admires her foolish pride and decides to heal her, allowing her to regain consciousness. Rola expresses surprise that someone like Verdos is working for Toma. In an unexpected twist, Verdos reveals that he is only aligned with Toma because he finds Toma cute. Meanwhile, Setsu engages in a fierce battle with his opponent, who uses a shadow ability to immobilize him. As the opponent prepares to finish Setsu off, he blocks the attack and asserts that the opponent doesn't stand a chance. Laughing, the opponent wagers his life, breaking his limit to don shadow armor. Despite Setsu's attacks, the shadow armor absorbs all energy, and the opponent retaliates by punching Setsu away. Undeterred, Setsu exudes his energy, using his sword skill to destroy all the opponent's equipment. Refusing to give up, the opponent charges with a broken sword, prompting Setsu to call him an idiot and deliver the finishing blow. Toma realizes that all of his companions have been defeated, acknowledging that they are approaching the final showdown and expressing his desire to bring the curtain down on the world. Levi rushes to check on Dezis, who notes that Toma's companions have all been defeated, giving them the upper hand in the battle. However, Toma suddenly arrives, declaring that the outcome will be the same regardless. A struggle ensues, resulting in both Levi and Dezis being defeated. Setsu, concerned for his friends, rushes to find them, but Toma, displaying jealousy at Setsu's concern, asserts that talking is futile. Toma envisions a world where only they will remain after he ends the world, believing they will have ample time to converse. Setsu charges at Toma, and the two engage in a fierce blade clash. Despite Toma being pushed back, he transforms his sword and hurls it at Setsu, creating a destructive force that damages the roof and even cracks the sky. Levi marvels at their strength, and Setsu questions if Toma has finished warming up. Toma attacks with his aura, and Setsu defends himself, but Toma swiftly moves behind him, slashing with his sword. Reflecting on his performance, Toma wonders if he has lost his touch. Setsu disarms him, surprising Toma, who resorts to using his fists. Toma manages to push Setsu back, claiming he let his guard down and deciding to escalate the battle. He transforms his sword into a cannon, creating a powerful blast that pierces a hole in the mountain. Shocked by the cannon's strength, Setsu is determined to stop Toma before he can fire it again. Rushing at Toma, Setsu lands a kick, and they engage in an aerial battle. Unable to land a hit, Toma transforms his cannon into a Gatling gun, opening fire on Setsu. In a strategic move, Setsu summons Gluttony to devour the attack, gaining power from the absorption and redirecting the energy back at Toma. Setsu's other friends arrive, and he is relieved to see them all safe. However, Toma reflects on how Setsu has always been surrounded by people, leaving him feeling alone. In response, Toma releases an overwhelming amount of power, leaving Setsu suspicious about the nature of this newfound strength. Toma decides to push his limits further, sacrificing all his life force to transform his weapon once again. With this upgraded weapon, Toma unleashes a barrage of attacks, forcing Setsu to evade. Toma, now targeting Setsu's friends, launches powerful attacks at them. Although Setsu attempts to absorb the onslaught with his sword, the energy proves too much. Miraculously, his friends come together to form a protective shield, surviving the assault. Setsu retaliates with a flurry of rapid slashes, successfully dismantling Toma's weapon. Undeterred, Toma rises once more, contemplating his memories with Setsu and vowing not to lose. Transforming his weapon into a colossal cannon, he aims it at Setsu and fires. Setsu, attempting to shield himself, is overpowered and sent crashing into the ground. Toma, convinced he has finally defeated Setsu, bursts into manic laughter. However, Setsu counters with dimensional magic, trapping Toma and activating his ultimate skill. The ground rises around Toma, who panics at the impending danger, reminding Setsu of his promise to protect him. He mentions that all he desired was to remain alongside Setsu, but he finds himself trapped in darkness. Yet we notice his necklace is shattered, and he awakens. Puzzled about why he's still alive, he questions Setsu. Setsu explains he aimed to reach him, using his sword to consume only the curse that controlled him, recalling his pledge to protect him. Though Toma feels burdened by his wrongdoings, Setsu believes he now had the opportunity to make amends. Toma finds himself imprisoned, questioning what kind of punishment awaits him. Setsu reveals his plan to utilize all his magical power to send his classmates back to their world. Toma thinks it's a lenient outcome, but Deza points out that once Toma exhausts his power, he'll become an ordinary human, incapable of causing further trouble. Setsu proposes that Toma should also go to the other world for a fresh start. As Toma performs the spell, all the students are transported back to their world. Setsu wonders why Toma chose not to join them, but Toma expresses his desire to atone for his actions in this world. They part ways, and Setsu gets ready for a new adventure. Although Elka wants to accompany him, Thea mentions the responsibilities they have after the war. Yubi opts to stay behind, determined to stick with Setsu wherever he goes. The two set off to explore the world, eagerly anticipating the adventures that lie ahead.